In the spring of 2010, not too long after my 50th birthday, I sat in a Dallas conference room with my colleagues, AT&T leaders from across the country, filling out the human performance expert Jack Gropel's corporate athlete assessment questionnaire. As the president of AT&T North Carolina, I was required to be there, but I didn't expect much to come from the session. I was sure I wouldn't find out anything new about myself. I knew me. I was in excellent emotional, mental, and spiritual health. I read and kept my mind sharp. I spent time with my family and friends to get the emotional support I needed. I was intentional about making time for prayer, going to church, and feeding my soul. As I remember it, my results were off the charts in those categories. My physical health, though, I thought it would be my lowest score, but figured it would still be decent. I used to be an athlete, and now as an executive and a mom, I was constantly on the go. I'd already cut back on ding-dongs and fried chicken. What else could they want from me? I was partially right. Physical health was my lowest scoring area on Jack's assessment, but the score was far from decent. It was clear where I needed to put my attention. A few months before, my primary care physician had given me a referral slip for a colonoscopy test, which he called a routine precaution for all his patients when they turned 50. I'd thanked him and put the slip on my nightstand, figuring I'd get to it sooner or later. After all, I'd be 50 for a whole year. I had plenty of time. I thought about that slip at the end of Jack's program, when we were told to all choose accountability buddies from within the group and then share with them one specific action step that we would take for improvement. I turned to Frank, a straight-talking executive from New Jersey, and told him I would get a colonoscopy. I was a busy woman, I reasoned, so I picked something I thought wouldn't require extra energy. Over the following weeks and then months, Frank somehow always managed to call me when I was in the Starbucks drive-thru. "Did you get that thing done yet?" he'd ask in his grovelly New York accent. I'd tell him no and change the subject. 7 months and many Frank phone calls later, I finally got to say yes. The appointment was made, and so could we please talk about something else now? I scheduled my colonoscopy for December 14th, the day before my 51st birthday. I was cutting that get it done at 50 close, but in my defense, I schedule all of my routine medical checkups for my birthday week every year. I have an annual health plan that I stick to, and now it contained a colonoscopy maintenance box to check. I still remember the anesthesia-induced sleep I had that day as the best I've ever had. I didn't feel a thing. When I woke up, though, the first thing I saw was Kenny standing over me. That wasn't normal. Kenny's not one to hover too close. Through my anesthesia haze, I saw that he was frowning, biting his lip the way he does when he's bothered. I knew right away something wasn't right. "Wife, we've got a problem," he told me, and then he stopped, not sure how to continue. The doctor saw something he didn't like. I didn't know how to respond to that, and my brain still wasn't working at its normal speed. I reached out toward the paper I could see in his hand. "What's that?" After a second of hesitation, "Maybe you should read this later when you feel better." Kenny relented and handed over the report from the gastroenterologist, who'd been called off to see another patient while I was still in recovery. He'd given Kenny copies of the scans they took, promising to call the next day to talk me through them. I'm no doctor, but when I looked at the pictures of my body, even I could see the nasty-looking mass. It was not the birthday gift I was hoping for.